Hi everyone, welcome back to the Planet Pearl YouTube channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Pearlin and I live in Christchurch, New Zealand with my family, including our two dogs, Amber and Casper. And this is my little corner of the internet where I share my slow making, my everyday life, and all the creative things that I get up to. And this week I've been mostly working on Peggy Squares. They're just simple garter stitch squares. This is the wrong side. So what I do is I cast on 30 stitches, knit for a while, and then bind off at 60 rows. It's nothing fancy at all, and I think that's exactly why I'm reaching for them so much this time of my life. They're not like, it's not a big ask at all, it's just repetition, it's just same simple stitch, and I'm quite Casper no. So what was I saying? So this is just repetitive stitches and simple stitches. So I've been adding little stripes of color into it so that there will be some sort of interest going on in them, and it will kind of bring all the squares together. So I have pink squares, and then I have squares like that, and yeah, so I've been making all these squares kind of to be like a set, and I've been thinking of adding yellow as well. I don't know why exactly, but I think it needs a little warmth, I think it will a little warm color will add some sort of interest. It's really soft. I'm using the Merino DK Broadway yarn. So it started as yarn that came in the fiber events that I went to, but then I've added a couple more colors so that, yeah, so it'll be something really soft and cheerful, and it'll be a group of nice colors together. So right now I finished about 15 squares, which feels like really satisfying. Oh, that's good. I have 15 squares, and also I have this feeling where I'm like, oh, still have a few more to go, because before I have 20 squares to make the blanket. Actually, you can make any number of squares you want. Like this lady at the knit group, she has made 10 squares, and they're all blue, and it's really pretty. Very neatly done as well. And there's a couple of multicolored ones in there as well. Yeah. So this is a tweed one, and it's really pretty as well. And yeah, all these squares, so that's 10 squares in total that this lady at our knit group made. And I'm thinking that I will finish mine into a blanket. I'm hoping to finish my blanket before the end of 30th June, which is, I think, is the cutoff date for this blanket. But then you can make it throughout the year. So as soon as I finish this into a blanket, I can drop it off at one of the drop-off points here in Christchurch, which is Wild Earth Yarn, for the Niku project. So when I was talking with the knit group ladies today, they said it's okay if you have animals in your home, because I'm not sure, some babies might be allergic. I'm not really sure about that. Anyway, so this is for the Niku project, and while I've been knitting, I've realized that my mind has been so full lately, not in a crazy way, but just like busy thinking sort of way. And I think, Casper, sit. The repetitive making does that to your brain. Your hands are busy and suddenly your mind starts wandering off on its own journey. I don't know, has it happened to you? It happens to me all the time as I'm knitting. Like, I just get lost in my thoughts, and one square after another, as I'm making. I'm also watching Rookie now, just started, but then suddenly I'm thinking about all these different seasons of my life. And these Peggy Squares have actually made me think back to my really early years here in New Zealand. I think it was around 2016 or so. I remember feeling very uncertain then. And starting over in a new country is one of those things you really don't understand until you're in it. And no matter how prepared you are, it still is your own journey. And you've heard all these stories from other people, how things have worked and all of those things, but it still is your journey that you start. And you're trying to rebuild everything at once, your home, your work, your routines, your confidence, your own identity, and where you belong in this new country that you've landed in. And I remember constantly wondering where I fit in all of that. The world seemed so much bigger at that time because I didn't know a lot of things. And during that time, I thought I will enroll in a course at an institute called ARA here for a course named New Outlook for Women. And I still think about that course sometimes. It was all about building confidence, giving you a direction, creating self-awareness, and helping women reconnect with themselves and think about the life they are building. I don't know how I came upon this course, but it was a really good course. And at the end of the course, we had to present something that was meaningful to us. And I chose knitting and crochet and mental well-being. There is so much of talk around it these days, but even back then, I think it was so me looking back, because even then, I think I already knew that making helped me feel better emotionally. It has been like my steady ground throughout every season, and I just probably didn't have the knowledge that I have now about how creativity helps you feel grounded, how it helps you to helps your brain deal with nervousness and stuff like that. I didn't really know all these things back then, but I understood. I just knew I felt calmer when my hands were busy. I knew I felt grounded when I was making things, and it helped me to it helped me to feel connected, I think. And if I go even further back than that, I think that that understanding really, I was always a creative person. I was constantly creating something or the other. But I think my understanding of how creativity, how making really calmed me started when I was living in Kuwait. At that time, I was a stay-at-home mom. My life was really small in so many ways. It was a beautiful life, but it was a very contained life. Most of my days revolved around taking care of my home, my boys' routine and our family life. My husband was busy with his work, and my home was my own little world, and that's all I knew. And making things with my hands um, became this little made it like this thread that connected me to something beyond the safety of my home. And back then, I don't know how many people remember it, but there were these MSN group. And there were women from United States, and I had a friend in UAE and another in Philippines, who became part of my little creative world. And I have not met any of these women actually in real life, and yet we felt so close. And they know about our family, I know about their family, and not once but several times they have sent me boxes of yarn and thread and things that they have made all the way to Kuwait. There were yarn and pattern books and little thoughtful things, and it really felt incredible at that time. And just that feeling of being connected with people across the world, of someone thinking, I think you love this, and I think that was one of the first times I really understood how making isn't just about what you make, it's about the connection it creates, connection to yourself, connection to other people. And that was something that was steady, and it felt comforting as well. And sometimes I think these people shaped my life in ways without really even knowing it, because I think if not for the encouragement of these wonderful, wonderful ladies, I would not have kept at making and, having this enthusiasm. Because I remember one of my friends in the UAE, she used to tell me, try new patterns, make new patterns, don't keep doing the same thing over and over again. And that has stuck with me anyway. So I remember doing that presentation at ARA. I was nervous, really, really nervous, because I hadn't really stood up in front of people like that for a long time. And so I was speaking about the connection between mental health and knitting and crochet, and how they how they calm you and help you through anxious moments and stuff like that. So I took all these scarves that I had made with me, and at the end of the presentation, I threw them out into the room for people to catch and keep. And it sounds really chaotic now, but I think now that I think about it, but in that moment, it was just something, it felt like a fun way to finish my presentation. And so one of those scarves was caught by my tutor. And years later, I saw a photo of her wearing it at an awards event. And that really stayed with me, because something I had made in some season of my life had gone on to become someone else's special thing in their special story. And I think handmade things do that. They, for people who really value it, and they carry us forward in ways that we always don't see, which is probably why I always come back to making when life kind of feels uncertain. Not because it's like a band-aid or fixing or anything of that sort. It is like a companion that like my dogs. I have my dogs on one side, and I have my knitting on the other, and it feels perfect. And that's what I think these Peggy Squares are for me right now. I think this is a new season in my life, one that I didn't plan for, but it's here anyway, whether I like it or not. And so I make these squares at a time, use colors, and I kind of, because as you can see, these squares are completely different from the squares that I have made, and I think each person's squares gives their creation their own meaning, and I think of these squares of something that's going to become part of a bigger blanket, and that's why making these feels so special to me. I don't know, because it reminds me again of my connection to the NICU, because both my boys spent time in the NICU when they were born. They're healthy and grown now, and it is something I always take a moment to be grateful for sometimes. And I don't think you ever forget something like that, the uncertainty, the fear, the hope, everything, that it all goes hand in hand. And NICU can be really, it can be incredibly isolating, I think, as a young mom, as a young parent. So the idea of that something I'm making now in some faraway place might wrap a baby and comfort a parent even slightly, feels really close to my heart. And because sometimes a handmade thing can bring that little comfort of not being alone, I think. And I think that's really what creativity has always been for me in the end. It has always been about connection, small thoughts, small actions that bring comfort and care for other people. And it travels much more than you expect. I think makers are one of the most generous people around, and they give so freely. And yeah, so anyway, those are my thoughts. And I as I've been knitting these squares lately, and I just wanted to share them with you, because this week has all about me making these squares. And before I go, I also wanted to say thank you for all your kind comments on my last video about my magnolia cardigan. It has been so comforting to read all of that and make me feel like, oh, this frustration is just mine. No, it felt like I have friends cheering me on, and it's really funny how like sharing something so simple can make you feel like you're not alone in it. So, and at the knit group the other day, we were laughing because we all start projects together in theory and then finish them completely at different times. There's no order there, and absolutely no respect for whatever plan we had originally, which honestly feels like it's not like a disorganization, but I think that's how our creative lives go. So yeah, thank you so much for sitting with me today. I'd really love to know what you've been making lately, or if how Creative Connections has helped you through the seasons that felt uncertain. If you have creative connections across the world, and all of those things, I want to hear all about it. So until next time, take good care of yourselves, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now. Take care.